What's up, everybody? Jack Farr here on behalf of Box to Box Football. Mo Salah, new deal. I didn't think that would happen, mate. I've got to be honest with you. I did not think that would happen. I think that his demands were too high. And also, if you pay any attention to what Jurgen Klopp's been saying over the last however long, they can't pay the players this kind of wages. Well, actually, yes, they can. They've kind of bent the rules a little bit for Mo Salah. Now, if you're looking at people who are like deserving of it, I think Salah would be the name that probably stands out. You know my thoughts on him. I think he is a major benefactor of the Jurgen Klopp system and the way that he plays at Liverpool and stuff. And with contracts as well, from a club's point of view, what you want to do is pay the player for what they're going to be, not what they've been. You know what I mean? That's how you kind of try and thread the needle financially. If you want to keep a guy, that's fine, but you don't want him to cost too much. Is Salah going to be any better over the next 3 years than he has been over the last 5 or so years? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, famous last words. But I just want your initial reaction on this because, James, 350,000 a week. This is going to be Salah's last big club, big kind of paycheck club because James, he'll be 33 by the time this contract's over.
I feel like it's more than just a contract, Jack. I think it's a little bit of appreciation for what Mo Salah has been able to do for this football club. Yes, I know you say he's a beneficiary of Jurgen Klopp's system, but let's be honest, Jack.
Mo Salah is a great player.
Yeah, exactly. Mo Salah is Mo Salah, and he has been a huge part of that. And also, you got to look at it from the revenue point of view. This guy is the most known, the most famous Muslim person. By Allah, he's the most famous. Like he is,
right.
He's the most popular, all sorts of stuff there. And since he's coming to Liverpool, the attraction he's brought in, the name, we know Liverpool are big. We all know what Liverpool are, but there's a different audience you can bring in, and he has been able to bring that audience. I have to look at it from this point of view too. Is that Liverpool have had this thing about they just get apparently a bunch of nobodies and make them stars, and I get it. And have they worked to a certain point? Yeah, I wouldn't say Liverpool have signed nobodies. You don't sign a player for 75 million and call him a nobody, right? You don't sign Alisson for 60 and call him a nobody. You don't sign Naby Keita for 50 million and call him a nobody.
What I will say is and you'll like this reference, James, they're kind of B+ players, right? You love that reference, right? The Daniel Bryan reference in there, but
the wrestling thing.
But this is, I think, the main thing. You're taking guys who at times you go, whoa, Salah at Roma was great at times. He was. Mane at Southampton was great at times.
He was amazing. But I genuinely feel no matter where Mane would have went,
this, right? You never thought they'd be this, right? Alisson as well. I could have told you that Alisson was going to be amazing from the get go because he just was that guy. Van Dijk as well. I mean, as good as he was for Southampton, I don't think that anybody thought he'd make the level of impact that he has for Liverpool. So there's got to be some credit there as well. James, what I think, and this is where I want to take the conversation, this is not Mane playing 9, kind of false 9-ish, right? Firmino coming back, helping out, being a bit more of a creator, letting Salah kind of cut in from that right-hand side. And, we know what Salah's heat map usually looks like, right? It's basically on the penalty spot of the opposition. Darwin Núñez is not going to be that Firmino, Mane, Jota type striker. Liverpool, I think, are going to play football a little differently this year. I think Mo Salah is going to be pushed a little more out wide because I would imagine, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, you're the one with more expertise on this kind of topic, but are Darwin Núñez and Mo Salah not going to get in each other's way if they keep playing the way they have been?
For me, I think the worst thing that people must understand, especially when you're at a football team, is that you got to evolve. If you stay doing the exact same thing, teams will figure you out. You got to look at, for instance, a great example is Barcelona's tiki-taka style. As great as that was, as much as it dominated football, it got found out, and Bayern Munich were able to, they cracked the code and they bullied the hell out of Barcelona. Barcelona did evolve, and I think Liverpool are doing the right thing, evolving. Do I look at the way Mo Salah plays? I don't think Mo Salah gets in the way of anybody. The only thing I would say with it is that the sacrifice maybe in certain parts of Darwin Núñez's game, and I'm talking about defensively. But this is not to say Mo Salah doesn't do a defensive job. I don't see anything to be that much of an issue for Mo Salah. But I want to take it from this point of view, especially, is that Liverpool just lost Sadio Mane, I think the greatest thing that they ever done was giving Mo Salah this contract. Because I don't think Liverpool would have been able to compete with Manchester City if, let's just say, Mo Salah
Mm,
walks out the door this season. Because people are going to say they can sell him and bring in another player. Jack, it's so hard to constantly, like, bring in a whole new front three. The difference is, okay, I take it back to Barcelona and how they were able to evolve their front three when they had Ronaldinho, Eto'o, Messi. Yeah, then they had Messi, Thierry, Henry, and Eto'o, and then they had Messi, Suarez, Neymar. You know, constantly David Villa, Pedro, Messi. But the common denominator was there. They always had that one guy, and that
right.
was Lionel Messi there. I don't think Liverpool can replace two of them guys. And Firmino's virtually out and says, here's a new one. You look at Man City and how they've been able
Yeah.
to evolve under Pep Guardiola. The one common denominator offensively there for me, obviously you had Sterling, but also you had someone like Kevin De Bruyne who has been flexible. And you need somebody that understands and is very familiar with that system. And I look at Mo Salah, he, to a certain point, was the system, you know? Liverpool play to get the best out of Mo Salah. So
He's
you
the
keep
cherry
him
on top.
there.
Right.
Exactly. You
Right.
keep him in there. For me, it helps just the train keep on moving. You know, you guys can learn from him, right? We play our best football when he's firing. So if we can get him going, you guys can all get going. And
I
to me, that's the best thing.
Yeah, I think I do look at it as a little bit of a risk, though, purely from a standpoint of if you're asking him to do something a little different, even if it is just a little bit different, and you're paying him all this more money, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And James, it wasn't even near broke the way Mo Salah's been playing for Liverpool over the last 3, 4, 5 years, right? What I'm looking at, I think my prediction is, I think we're going to see like a 2012 to 2014 Jurgen Klopp, like the use of the way he used Lewandowski when Lewandowski was a little bit more athletic, a little faster, right? A little more physically dominant, not the kind of complete striker that we see now, where he was just physically a bit more imposing in the threat. Because that's what we know about Darwin Nunez, right? He does have speed. He's kind of awkward to play against, right? And I just think that I wonder if we're going to see that a bit differently. And if Mo Salah is being asked to do something different, 350,000 a week to be asking a guy who's been your best performer to a certain extent, in this new system would to me just be a little bit of a concern if I were a Liverpool fan.
But I don't really see that being a concern because to me, I've seen as you said, Jack, you were very critical of Mo Salah during your time, but you also seen a guy evolve. And you at first he was known as this selfish player, but Jack, he won. He got the most assists in the Premier League. Well, I think we're like 15, something like that, something crazy like that. And we've seen what happens when the goals like dried up. He was still able to provide. And the difference is now is that he has more of a clinical finisher in like Darwin Núñez there, a striker who, for instance, with Sadio Mane, he would vacate that position. There's always going to be a guy there to supply. There's always going to be a guy making runs into channels and all that sort of stuff there. So for me, it's like we will see Mo Salah still get his goals. Someone asked me, I'm going to ask you who is going to be top goal scorer in the Premier League. Obviously, you look at Erling Haaland, but Mo Salah is always going to be on top of that tree or like top three.
Yeah,
you know,
he's going to be in and around the top 5 probably until he hangs up his boots.
But this is where Mo Salah to me shows me his ability to evolve a little bit because Mo Salah's a winger, all right? His job throughout his whole career was being a winger, being able to beat your man and putting crosses in like deliver for the striker. Nothing really changing that much. He might just have to stick out wide a little bit more at certain points, but I don't see it changing to that point where it's going to affect Mo Salah. To me, I seen the guy was able to adapt his game a little bit when like he realized that the goals were drying up at the end of last season. Jack, you've seen how many assists he got in big Champions League game against Villarreal. He's getting big assists. I think coming to the end of the season, he got like 7 assists. I get he wasn't scoring, but Jack, he can do things differently, and that's to me the biggest credit for Mo Salah.
I agree. And does he, on a personal level, deserve this contract? Yes, of course. If I'm Liverpool, though, I'm still marking this as a bad call. I am. I think you should have cashed in when the money was there to cash in. I think they made a good chunk of money on Sadio Mane, but I think they could have made potentially twice as much on Mo Salah. I don't know whether that was right or not. I don't know maybe if the market wasn't there for it at the time. But James, I'll be honest with you, in terms of hits and misses about real contenders to start for this Liverpool team, we've seen hit after hit in recent memory. Luis Diaz is a hit. I've seen enough already. Like Luis Diaz is a hit, right? Diogo Jota as well. I've been somewhat critical of him. I still think, obviously, he's been hurt recently, but I think Pedro Neto has more like natural ability and talent than somebody like Diogo Jota. But Diogo Jota is a serious player. That's a hit as well. You got Nunez in there. I think that if Liverpool really, really wanted to, if they could have gotten rid of Mane and Salah in one off season, you'd go, that's crazy. How can you do? And Firmino, you'd go, oh, that's crazy. How could you do that? But if they pick up like an Ousmane Dembele on a free transfer, right, or they get a Rafael Leao, I'm playing Football Manager in my brain right now, but like those are the kinds of signings that could be made. And under Jurgen Klopp, I think we're getting hits again. So as much as, and I totally take your point about like, you know, you can't just keep bringing in new people and expecting it to work. I'd say out of all the clubs where you could probably get away with that, Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp is probably one of them. You know what I mean? I will say though, and I'll be interested because I don't feel super strongly about it, but I do just have this feeling that Liverpool are going to play a little differently in the same way, James, that I think Man City might play a little differently this season too. I don't know if we're going to get the same from each of these guys here. Any kind of final thoughts?
No, to me, you said it was a bad thing from Liverpool. I don't think it is. I do like the fact that they have that bit of familiarity there with a player like Mo Salah, and have players build around it. You know, you don't want it to change too much. To me, that's the biggest issue. Like you look at the way like Guardiola's done it. All right, he brought in Grealish, but he still had Mahrez who understood. He still had Bernardo Silva, Sterling's gone right now, but Grealish has had a year to understand the system. Now, what's it called again? Sterling can go, and then they'll bring someone in. But because Grealish has already had a year, Mars has been there for a while, and we all know what the rest of them are all about. It's not that big of a change when you're having to change two players and then bring in and ask him, you got to hit the ground running straight away.
Oh, and we're not just trying to challenge for the Premier League. We're trying to get European silverware too, like in your first year, right?
You know.
Yeah, no, I know I'm kind of going off topic here, but with Man City selling players who've never played a Premier League game for like £15 million, I don't even know what to say anymore with that academy setup. But anyway, guys, let us know what you think. We're a little late on this. We do apologise. Look, James and I have lives of our own, right? We're trying to hit you when we can. But yeah, we can still react to this. You know, we're still way, you know, into kind of deep into pre-season at this point when we're you know, the Premier League is always around the corner. But you know, we're still waiting to see what Mo Salah is going to be, what this Liverpool team are going to be. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Please hit that subscribe button. James and I kind of quietly, you know, plugging away here, trying to get up to 700. Next milestone up to one to get to is going to be 1,000. So please do hit that subscribe button if you're not. Like the video, and like I say, any comments, you agree with me, you agree with James, like let us know. James, anything else from you?
Guys, just like, share and subscribe and tell us your opinion, and we'll see you guys next time.